Week 3, Project 3, Java 2. Just kind of go through the questions and then show my app and go through a little bit of the code. So what are your thoughts on patterns? I actually had to look back to see what a pattern was, and then I realized that was the singleton. So going through the singleton, I'm pretty sure I did it right. Um, I think maybe I should have implemented it as its own class. I think that's how most people were doing it, but I kind of just put it in with, I guess it is its own class. I just didn't call it a singleton, but basically, thoughts on it are pretty. I think it's pretty valuable to store methods when you're talking about constantly having to use the same types of methods. I read something about the utilities and stuff like that. So anytime you're trying to use the same type of method, it's good to have them in there where you can just call that and you don't have to rewrite all the code. So I think there's definitely benefits to using these singletons, and that's mainly that you don't have to write the same code to access the same method or data, depending on how you have it set up. But I don't know, I'm rambling, but I think the patterns is definitely a benefit. What are your thoughts on multiple activities? This is pretty simple. Obviously, most applications need multiple activities. I guess you could rewrite each activity in code as something changes, but making different activities for each click is obviously more valuable. You click on a list view and then it goes to the detail view. I don't know why you would try to rewrite the entire screen just to show the detail view. So anyway, multiple activities, good thing. What are your thoughts on explicit and implicit intents? To me, these are pretty much buttons or navigation abilities, and obviously I think we need these because apps need UI and navigation. The explicits, where we tell the app or the button what to do. Obviously you need things that do certain things that we tell it to do, so explicit is definitely the way to go. As far as implicit intents, it makes things easy. You don't have to put a web view, let's say, for iOS. You can just tell it to go and use the web to open up a web page. So I think those are pretty cool too. What would you have done differently if you could? I probably would have done the singleton differently. I think the singleton is supposed to hold maybe multiple methods and maybe not just one, but I could be wrong. But I kind of embedded it into my database to access the database from anywhere, so I could not have to rewrite code. If I were to build 8 screens and need to access that same database, I could just call the method instead of having to call everything all over again. So maybe that's what I would have done differently. And the UI kind of stinks. I wish I was better at XML and making things pretty. List a few things that could use more clarification. Again, I think the singleton was probably the toughest part this week. Of course, I had to fix a little bit of my app, just some little bugs that I found, but I think the singleton mostly, just because there's many different things that you could use it for, and I'm pretty sure I did it right, at least the method and to get it working, but maybe a little bit more in the use of these. I know we use them in iOS, so I'm kind of familiar with them, but more clarification never hurts. So as far as my app goes, here it is again. So all we're doing is we're searching the zip code, no matter what it is. I'm sure we're all familiar with this zip code, so I'll just choose that. Whoops. And what this does is it just pulls the current zip and pulls the day. I used an expanded list view. So currently the weather for Thursday, or I think this is the high weather for Thursday, is 79, and it's partly cloudy in 90210 Beverly Hills. If I click the 5 days, the 5 days show. I noticed a bug when I was messing around with the app, and the bug was showing that it was storing only one instance of the zip code. So Thursday, 79 degrees. If I were to change this to something like, say, my zip code, we should see something different than 79. Before I wasn't, and now I am. Should be. There we go. So 86. Rotating, no problem. The app can handle rotation and can store or continue the data. So as far as my intents, if I hit this next button on the bottom, which you didn't see because my Jordat screen is taking a minute, when you click on next, it takes you to a second screen, which gives you extra details on the current day. If you hit implicit, which we will do, I keep clicking on the screen, it doesn't do anything. This will take you out to the, actually what this does is it takes the zip code that was entered on the previous screen and puts it into another web link where it will access the weather for that current area, which is kind of cool. And then if I hit back, it takes me back to the original screen, and I gotta hit it on the phone and not on the screen. And this is me passing data back from the other screen and bringing it back over here. So average wind, and max humidity is also over here now. So I can easily change this back to 90210 to 10. Hit search, maybe, yep. Back to the 79 degrees. If I hit next, this will tell me more about the weather in 90210. As you can see, it's passing here the day, the weather, partly cloudy, and then just a little bit of data. If I hit back, I'll pass this information as well. Oh, gotta hit the phone again. So there it is. That's my app. Kind of simple. Nothing too exciting. UI could be prettier, but that's okay. It works. It's functional. As far as what did I do differently this week, I added the activity. Here's the second activity. This is pulling in the JSON data, pulling in a couple things. The JSON data for the extra things that I pulled from the JSON, and these are the keys to access the database. These are my buttons, my implicit intent, and my explicit intent that will take the information back into the first activity. And intent data, new intent, put these datas, put them over to the other side. There was one thing I was going to show up here. This is the different website. This isn't the actual API that's being pulled. This is just for my implicit intent. So it takes this link plus the zip code that gets carried over, ties it to the end, and sends me to that link. Let's see, main activity. There's nothing really new there except I made a modification on the database, which before it wasn't deleting the old instance of data. Where did I put it? Right here. I wasn't deleting it before, so now I am. Oh, this is my screen orientation change, my save instance state bundle. I don't think I had that in there properly. I did that in code. Oh, and here's the singleton. This is actually using DB to get the database from, I think it's my database helper. Is that where it is? Yes. So here's my singleton here, my database helper. If minstance equals null, minstance equals new database helper. And then just here's the constructor for that. Trying to see. This is just the helper methods. So this allows me to, what this does, this singleton here allows me to access the database and use these methods to, if I were to use them in other screens. So long video, wow, I just noticed 9 minutes. So sorry about the long video, but that's my app, and it's working. And my volume's low, so I hope this is loud enough.